Welcome to San Joaquin Spotlight, a public affairs program featuring conversations about life in the central San Joaquin Valley. This program is brought to you in partnership between KFSR 90.7 FM and CMAC in Fresno. I'm your host, Sevag Tateosian. Today we have Tim Nightingale. Tim is the executive director of an organization called the Victim Offender Reconciliation Program of the Central Valley. Tim, welcome to the program.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Talk a little bit about what this organization is.
In 1982, Victim Offender Reconciliation Program was founded by Dr. Ron Clausen. So that was 30 years ago, 31 years ago now. And what it is it's a restorative justice program. And it's a very simple concept, actually. It started in Canada. The very first one was in Canada. It's a very simple concept. What happened was, it was a probation officer's idea in Canada. And some kids had vandalized some houses. And the probation officer was, I think, maybe it was a smaller community, so he was a little bit more interconnected. And when the kids came in to his probation office, he said, "Why don't you guys go apologize to the people you did this to?" And the kids agreed, and they said, "Yeah, we'll go apologize." And with a simple story like that began a whole field of interest. There's books written about it. There's theories written about it. One book, for example, Changing Lenses by Howard Zehr. It's a big old book, and it all started with a simple idea. Let's see who was hurt by this and offer an apology.
It came to Fresno in the 80s. It's been around since. Are you operated by a board, or talk a little bit about the governance of your organization?
There's a board. There's been a board since it came into a nonprofit status. It needed a board. It has a board. The board is full of very wonderful people. I enjoy seeing them about once a month. We have Dr. Wint. He's emeritus professor at Fresno State in the field of victimology. We have Maggie Fainertown, and she's an attorney, and she's just a wonderful person. The type of people that when you're with them, you relax, you're having fun. Then we have Nathan Wall. He's a recent, not so recent, but he graduated from Wheaton, from Fresno, went to Wheaton, came back, and he works in the commerce area, and just a regular citizen that cares and heard about what we do, wanted to get involved. And we have Jose Chaparro. He's also within sort of the field of law type stuff, and very wonderful people. We spend a lot of time, every month we talk about, okay, how are things on track? How are things looking? So the board is pretty widespread. I mean, we have a professor, we have a lawyer, we have commerce, so that's really nice about that, and differing ages as well.
Walk us through how this process works. Let's say that I do graffiti on someone's wall. What happens?
All right, so let's say you did the graffiti. It was you. So you would get arrested, which is not a pleasant experience. Not pleasant for you, okay? Not pleasant for your parents. Think about that. For those of you who are parents, you're wondering where your kid's at. Maybe they're half an hour late home. They should have been home. Or you thought they were in school, because that's where they should be, and you get a phone call from the police saying, "We have arrested your son or daughter." That, I can imagine, would not be a pleasant experience, and from the clients that I have personally worked with, is not a pleasant experience. So you get that, you get arrested, then you go through the appropriate court process. There are many different court processes as connected to the severity of the crime that you committed. And there's a whole system involved with that. And there's a variety of different places where that system can refer you to VORP, to Victim Offender Reconciliation.
By
Program.
system, we're talking the attorneys involved or law enforcement. Who are we talking about?
The Juvenile Justice Campus. We're very fortunate to have a great working relationship with the courts, the district attorney, the public defender, and probation. I was at 2 meetings today containing members from each of those categories. We have great working relationships. We're very fortunate for that. That is where VORP receives its referrals. So you broke the law, right? You were graffitiing.
I did.
You did. And then your parents were very unhappy.
Yes, they would be.
You can imagine that. And then you went through the appropriate court process as connected to your crime. And then you got referred to VORP. So we would meet you. Someone, either a trained volunteer or one of our professional staff would meet you.
Let me stop you there and ask, are you meeting with me by myself? Are my parents involved? Do I need a lawyer? Who are you meeting with at that stage?
Parents are always involved. You're a juvenile in this case scenario. You're a juvenile, so we don't meet without your parents. Attorneys are welcome. They often don't really see the need to come, but we always say, you know, you're welcome to come. And so we meet with you and we ask you 3 questions. Basically, those questions are really for you. Because we're a nonprofit, our services are free. The question is, do you want to work with us? Okay? And you have to answer 3 questions in order to do that. So the first question I ask you is, on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being not responsible and 10 being fully responsible for what you did, you know, what number would you give yourself?
I would give myself an 8. If I'm the one that did the graffiti, I would say probably an 8 or 9.
Okay. And how did you come up with the 8 or 9?
Simple. I'm the one who sprayed the wall with the graffiti.
Okay, so wouldn't that put you closer to a 10?
I like 8 or 9 better.
That's okay. That's no problem. So basically, once you've identified yourself as the person who did it, you know, you're responsible, you admit that, you know. Then we ask you, so do you think that person that got their wall sprayed is very happy right now?
I would say no to that.
No, they're probably not very happy. What's your level of interest in making things right? So that could include an apology, it could include paying back the cost of that wall, it could include community service. Are those the types of things that you'd be interested in doing?
At that stage, do they ask you a lot of questions? I mean, when you have someone that's a juvenile and you're putting all these responsibilities on them, I'm sure they're going to have questions for you. So is it common for them to stop you during the conversation and ask you questions?
It's common for them to know that what they did, you know, a lot of times, you know, I know it wasn't the best idea. I know my mom's sure mad about it. And I can imagine someone out there is very unhappy. And how long do you really want to live with that? Generally speaking, people don't. And so when they hear this opportunity, you have an opportunity to pay back that cost, make that apology, or do community service hours. It's a refreshing experience because generally speaking, the clients that I've worked with are very interested in taking that opportunity.
When does the actual victim come into this equation? You're in the room with the offender, and now you determine that they want to participate. So when do you bring in the victim?
So at the point where the offender says, yes, I'm interested in apologizing, I'm interested in paying back, I recognize what I did was wrong, and I want to do this process, we still have not contacted the victim. We only contact the victim after the juvenile and the family have made those commitments.
So at this point, the victim does not know that this is the direction that you're going or the court system is going, correct?
They may have heard about it. There could be a variety of reasons why a victim may know that, one, they're a victim, and two, that this could be a possibility for them. But we don't contact them unless we know that the offender and their family have committed fully to this process.
It sounds like this is like mediation. How would you compare this to mediation?
It's similar to mediation. A lot of times people hear mediation and, they think about divorce mediation, or they think about maybe something connected to tort law, or they think about just work problems, that sort of stuff. When adults go to mediation, usually, not all the time, but usually there's a bit of blame on both sides, right? You did this, I did this, you did this, I did this.
Right.
When at Victim Offender Reconciliation Program, it's pretty simple, pretty cut and dry. The kid who broke the law, broke the law. The person who was the victim was the victim. So the role is very simple, and that makes it very easy to do, because the next part I was going to get to is once the family has committed to going through the process, then we contact the victim. And so it's always optional. It's always optional. There's no coercion. It's information. We give people information, and we offer services, and we let people make their choices. So we'll go to a victim and we'll say, hey, your case was referred to us by the juvenile justice campus, or by the court system, and we heard that you were a victim. So imagine yourself now. You were at one point, imagine yourself as the kid who did it. Now imagine yourself as the person who got the house tagged.
Right. So I'm at home and I'm sitting there watching TV or doing whatever I have to do, and I get a phone call. And is it from VORP, the phone call?
Yeah.
What do you tell me at that point?
I say, hi, Sevag.
Okay.
Your case has been referred to us, and we'd like to meet with you to talk with you about the different services we offer. When would you be available to do that?
And let's say that I say, okay, I want to go through with this program. How does that make me whole? Does the offender repaint the wall or pay for that? Talk a little bit about what happens next.
What's nice about this program is two things. One, completely voluntary. Two, you're part of the agreement making. Okay, so we come to your house, or you come to our office, whichever you prefer, and we meet with you, and we say, so Sevag, tell me about what happened that day.
And I tell you the story.
Yeah, you tell me the story. And we say, well, you probably incurred some damages, maybe monetary damages. You may identify yourself as frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
You may identify yourself as violated. You may identify yourself as angry. All of which are things that are common experience for someone who's been a victim.
I was going to stop and ask you that question. Are you finding that the victims are angry at this point, and when they're talking to you, are they venting?
Sometimes, yeah. They're angry. I'd be angry.
Right.
I've had stuff stolen from me. I got angry. So, yeah. So then after we've talked with them, and there's always the option with us. Either you can tell us the story first, or you can hear about our program first. Whatever you like. So let's say you've chosen the option of telling us the story and then hear about our program. What I would say is, I just want to let you know that the family of the kid and the kid who did this to your house, we've met with them, and they are interested in completing this program, and they've committed to apologizing. They've committed to paying back whatever damages. If the amount is high, It may need to be in payment plans, but they've made that commitment. And they've committed to having a meeting with you to talk about it. So if you're interested in doing that, we can help you do that.
When you get that affirmative answer from the victim, how does that make you feel? I imagine you in your position get excited when you hear that they want to participate.
Honestly, yes. And that's because I have personally done 180 of these cases.
Wow, congratulations on that. That's remarkable. 180 cases. And these are Valley cases?
Mm-hmm. Valley cases, where I bring the victim and the offender together. And people are very happy with the services we offer. Now, if people don't want to accept them, I'm happy for them as well. You know why? Because I firmly believe that people, when given good information, can make good decisions. My job is to inform you. My job is not to coerce you, choose for you, tell you what to do. My job is to inform you. If you've met with me and you've been informed and you make your decision, I'm going to support that decision that you've made. So 9 out of 10 times, generally speaking, people say, yes, I would like to do this.
That is incredible. 9 out of 10 times. I want to ask you about the court system, the district attorney, the public defender's office. I bet they love this because you know that there's a burden right now on the court systems. There's a lot of cases. So do you find that these parties are also supportive of your organization?
I'll tell you a little bit about a program called Community Justice Conferencing. VORP, Victim Offender Reconciliation Program, is the umbrella. We offer a variety of services under that umbrella. So under VORP, we offer training. We do a 10-hour mediator training. Anybody interested in being a VORP mediator can come for 10 hours and do a 10-hour training. That's a service that we provide. There is a fee, but we provide that. We provide service for the victims and offenders when a probation officer refers us the case. Okay? Another service that we provide as VORP is called Community Justice Conferencing. So in 2008 and 2009, the California Endowment, Fresno Pacific University, the Center for Peacemaking and Conflict Studies at Fresno Pacific University, VORP, Public Defender's Office, District Attorney's Office, judges or the courts, and probation met 2008 to 2009 for 1 year. 1 year. And they said they identified a group of cases that when they come to the court, if they have committed a crime that fits within that group, that juvenile is offered the opportunity to work with our program. So I answer that question that you asked, which was, they must like this. And the answer is yes, because they were part of designing it. We met with them for a year. We built the Lego blocks together. You know, we constructed it together with them. It is what we designed as a group. And so that group of kids who have committed the type of crime that fits the eligibility, they get the option of working with us. And they come right across the hallway into our office. And those questions I asked you about, you know, did you do it? Are you sorry? Would you like to pay back the money? Are you going to do it again in the future? When they get the opportunity to work with our program and they answer those questions in an affirmative, you know, that they're not going to do it again, that yes, they did do it, yes, they're going to apologize and make things right, then we tell them, thank you. I'm glad you made that choice. Now, you and your family have to get 2 support people and meet with a mediator in 2 weeks and to talk about how you're going to make things right. And as a group, you guys are going to figure it out before we involve the victim. So the family has already had this time where they brainstorm, okay, you know, the victim might be out this much money. We could probably do a payment plan that looks like this, or we could pay it like that. They've had that time together. And then once they've done that, then we contact the victim, and just the way I informed you about your opportunity, and I asked you your level of interest in participating, we do the same thing and bring them together.
What happens when the offender doesn't stick through the plan? So in the example we talked about, the graffiti, let's say that I did the graffiti and I promised every month I'm going to pay $10 until there's enough money in the budget to cover the paint that the homeowner had to pay for. What happens in month 2 if I ignore it or don't pay it?
Well, we'd give you a call and we'd ask you, are you still interested in keeping your agreement?
And the answer to that, if it was yes, what happens?
Then we figure out how you can keep your agreement.
Interesting, interesting. Let's talk a little bit about this area, the Central Valley. Are you finding that when you go out and talk to people that they don't know that this program exists?
It's both and. It's like this. VORP was founded in 1982, been around for 31-ish years. And there's a lot of people out there who know about us. And I meet them randomly, and they come and they say, what you do, we like it. I was at a meeting the other day, and someone came into the meeting. They said, oh, you're VORP? Hey, you know, I was a victim 10 years ago. Your program provided services for me, and I was very happy with it.
I want to stop you there and ask you how that made you feel. Here, someone was a victim 10 years ago. They still remembered your organization. What was going through your mind?
I thought, great. You know, great. That the services were good. They remembered it well. That they were happy about having participated. And that is a common response. I have met a lot of victims who have taken me aside and said, thank you very much.
On your website, there's a video that explains this process. Can you talk a little bit about how people can get a hold of you, learn more about you, and find out more about the great things you do?
Our website is vorp.org, so VORP.org, O-R-G. And we have a great cast in a video on there. We have Judge Gottlieb, who is one of the main reasons that this program is functioning so well. And we're very thankful to him, and he's speaking on it. We have my wife on it, Noelle Nightingale, and she talks about the program. We have a victim and 2 offenders share their experience of the program on it. And so it's a great video. It's 6 minutes. You can watch it. We also have all our contact information on there, and we'd be happy to. We get a lot of phone calls, you know, inquiries. Do you guys do this? Do you guys do that? We're happy to either answer those over the phone and or meet with people. People who are interested in donating. We are a nonprofit. This year, we were very thankful to have quite a few donors donate, and it is something that nonprofits always need. But when it's a work like this, I think it is something worth learning about and seeing your level of interest. And I meet with donors. That's another part of my job. So that's a little bit about the website.
Age limit. We talked about an offender who was a juvenile, but do you get different ages go through the program, or is it limited to just juveniles?
The referrals that we receive from the Juvenile Justice Campus are for juveniles. The way that California law is written, to my understanding, is that juvenile law explicitly says the purpose is to rehabilitate. The idea being that if somebody commits a crime when they're younger, you want them to be a productive, good, hardworking citizen, right? You want them at the age of 18 to either go to college or get a job and contribute and be a citizen. So the juvenile law is written to rehabilitate. And this program has shown great success in that exact thing. In the past 3 years, we've collected over $39,000 on behalf of victims.
Congratulations on that. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money going to victims. So we have a high rate of collection for the victims. We have a high rate of kids who don't touch the criminal system anymore after participating with us. They're not interested in that sort of stuff anymore. So,
are schools involved in this, and how?
So schools are involved when they're listed as the victim. So if there was, a fight on campus, a theft on campus, different things like that, then a school who's listed as a victim will contact them, will meet with them. And it's true, administration gets frustrated with misbehavior. I mean, of course, you do.
Right.
It affects you, right? And so when we meet with a principal, they say, yeah, we want to tell the kid how important it is that they behave because they need an education. They need to grow up. They need to let other people get their education. And we want to meet. And so we do have schools listed as victims, and we work with them.
How do people find out more information about this whole area, whether it's reading material, whether it's online?
The restorative justice field, the Center for Peacemaking at Fresno Pacific University has a master's program. You can always check that out. Check out our website, vorp.org. Give us a call. I'll recommend books. Yeah.
Again, for our audience members who want to get involved, how can they contact you? How can they contact your organization?
So the phone number is 455-9803. So that's 455-9803. We do training for mediators 5 times a year, train about 100 people a year to be mediators. There's lots of different ways to be involved. Give us a call and tell us what your interests are, and we'll connect with you.
On that note, you've been watching San Joaquin Spotlight on CMAC Fresno and KFSR 90.7 FM. Our guest this week has been Tim Nightingale. He's the executive director of an organization called VORP, Victim Offender Reconciliation Program. Tim, thanks so much for coming on the program.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
That's all for this edition of San Joaquin Spotlight. Tune in next week for a new edition.